Okay, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about a story of massive disruption, but also incredible opportunity. It's a real paradox where the same force that's creating a tidal wave is also building the ship to survive it. And look, that's not just some tech blogger saying that, that's the head of the IMF. This isn't just another tech trend. We're talking about a fundamental shift in the economy. And it all starts with an amount of money that is just staggering. $350 billion. Let that sink in for a second. That's how much the big tech giants, we're talking Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Meta, are spending every single year on AI infrastructure. This is the kind of investment that built the railroads, that created the interstate highway system. It's massive. And when companies spend this much on what's called CapEx, on building out the data centers and buying the chips for our AI future, they're not just running some big science experiment. No way. They need to see a return on that investment, and they need to see it like yesterday. So how do they get that return? Well, creating brand new revenue streams with AI, that can be a little uncertain. It takes time. But you know what's immediate? You know what's measurable and hits the bottom line right away? Cutting costs. For big companies, it's simply the path of least resistance. And this is exactly how that pressure starts to show up in the real world. When you see companies like Amazon or Salesforce announce layoffs, they give a few reasons. But take a look. What you'll notice is that AI is right there in the mix, alongside restructuring and market slowdowns. It's part of the official story. And that number, it's pretty stark. Just in 2024, AI was named as a major factor in almost 55,000 layoffs in the US. That tsunami we were just talking about, yeah, this is what it feels like when it hits the shore. But here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. This corporate churn, it isn't just an ending. For a lot of the incredibly talented people leaving these companies, it's actually a starting line. A whole new wave of entrepreneurship is rising up from this exact turbulence. And the data, well, it backs this up completely. We're seeing this huge structural shift. The percentage of new companies started by just one person has leaped from less than 24% to over 36% in just a handful of years. It's actually becoming possible to go it alone. But that leads to a pretty harsh reality check. 90%, that's the failure rate for startups in their first 5 years. Building a company from scratch is just incredibly, incredibly hard. And for all these new solo founders, the odds are definitely stacked against them. So why? What's the real reason so many of these ventures don't make it? It's usually not a lack of good ideas, and it's not a lack of talent. The real culprit is a bottleneck, and it's a bottleneck that exists right inside the founder's own mind. It's a concept called cognitive load. I mean, just think about it. One person trying to be the CEO, the lead engineer, the head of sales, and the customer support team all at the same time. It's this hidden debt that just compounds and compounds faster than any other risk because it forces you to do one thing at a time. This slide shows the problem perfectly. On the left, you've got serial execution. You build the product, then you stop and switch to marketing. Every time you switch tasks, your momentum just dies. But on the right, you have parallel progress, where building, marketing, and learning all run continuously. Getting from the left side to the right side, that's often the difference between failure and survival. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The very same tool that's causing all this disruption, AI, it's also the solution to this exact bottleneck. And this quote totally redefines what it means to scale. It's not about hiring people, it's about increasing your capability. And you do that with an AI-powered business operating system. Now, don't think of this as some kind of autopilot for your company. Think of it more like you're installing a nervous system, something that keeps all the critical parts running and talking to each other, even when you're focused on just one thing. A system like this forces you into a weekly loop. It makes sure that the critical work actually gets done. You decide your priorities, you shape your offer, you generate demand, and on and on. It turns what used to be a heroic, unsustainable effort into a reliable, repeatable process. And that is how you get to that parallel progress we just saw. So the whole point here isn't to eliminate risk. Let's be real, starting a business is always going to be risky. But what this does is transform that invisible, overwhelming cognitive load into visible, manageable tasks that you can actually see, track, and deal with before they become fatal to your business. This is such a crucial takeaway. AI isn't some magic wand that turns you into a super founder. What it's really doing is giving you a much more complex cockpit to fly your business from. The founders who survive and thrive are going to be the ones who recognize their own limits and build systems to support them. Let me be really clear about this. AI doesn't remove your responsibility as a founder. It does the opposite. It concentrates it. The founders who are going to win in this new era are the ones who use these systems to enforce the kind of discipline that an entire org chart used to provide. So that's the paradox. The tsunami of disruption is also the arc of opportunity. The tools to build a lean, powerful, solo-run company are officially here. But with this new power comes a new demand for discipline and focus, because the margin for error, well, it's pretty much gone. The hunt for real sustainable businesses has begun. The only question left is, are you ready?